Yes, yes, and we are live. A very good evening. A very good evening. So, let me check if everything is working correctly. I think it's the third time that I'm now working with StreamYard.com to stream live to our Facebook group and to our YouTube channel. So, I see, yeah, the first people are getting in. All right. You know what? Let's get started. For the ones who have absolutely no idea who I am, I'm the one that they call Rick, Mr. Rick Dutch. And I'm the founder of Man Academy. I've been working since 2009 internationally with men to further develop in the field of communication with women and to understand the attraction and relationships better. Basically everything from starting interactions, dating, relationships, and even breakups. And I would like to welcome you to this training where I'm going to explain a very interesting concept. And I'm going to try my best to break some beliefs about love and about romance. And this is not just a training with a few nice sounding tips and things that won't really help you because you'll do fuck all with it anyways. I'm really going to dive into the rabbit hole, and I'm going to take your current mindset and beliefs about pickup and dating, or about romance specifically, to a whole different level. So make sure that you have your pen and paper ready and that you're going to make a lot of notes. Yeah, because like I always say, I'm going to drop some value bombs. Yeah, so my name, my actual name, it's not Rick, it's Rink, and it's the most Dutch name, the Dutchest name that you can give, that you can name someone with such a sexy Brazilian color tone that I have. And yeah, since 2009, I've been working internationally with people in the field of dating. And no, I'm not only very well trained in the theory. I've been walking the path myself for quite some time now. And I always say I'm not a dating coach or relationship coach, as you continuously see passing by on social media. The guys, that create a lot of content, interesting sounding content. The content creators that you'll find loads of, the guys who stands on the sidelines, preaches from book knowledge or regurgitated red pill knowledge and very limited practical experience, but tells you what to do. Yeah, and one thing I always say as well is that you won't receive any well-intentioned tips from me based on wishful thinking, a romantic thought process, or political correctness. I'll tell you what works, translated through a professional coaching lens and based on international experience in training and coaching men and extensive experience with women in very short relationships or long-term relationships. Yeah. I know what works. But of course, that wasn't always the case. My personal learning path started in a very painful way. It all started with an explosive breakup after a relationship of 12 and a half years. Not many people know this, but from the age of, I think I was 18 until 30-ish, I had a relationship. It was my first long-term relationship, and in that relationship, I clearly didn't wear the pants. She had a stronger character than I had. She was stronger willed, and basically she had a bigger mouth than I had, and like the naive, nice guy that I was at the time, thinking that he knew all. I just went with it. I followed her ass around. It was a serious relationship though. We did own a house together. We bought a house together. We had a dream car together. We had two English bulldogs together, Eddie and Max, and we have a daughter together, Sienna. But yeah, to make a long story short, at some point, this relationship exploded harder than an atomic bomb. And I lost everything that I had at the time. I lost my house. I lost everything in that house, all the stuff in that house. I lost my possessions, lost the car, lost access to savings account, lost money, lost access to my two dogs. And since that relationship breakup, my daughter and I haven't had contact anymore. So you can understand that at that time I was frustrated as fuck. I was emotionally all over the place, and above all, I didn't understand how this could have ever happened to me. Yeah, no one had ever explained to me how a relationship was supposed to work between men and women. I thought I knew everything, but yeah, later I found out I knew fuck all. And I also didn't expect something like this to ever happen to me. Yeah, these things that I went through, they happen to other people, but not me. Yeah, they happen in movies, but not me. But anyway, so after I recovered a bit and wanted to start dating again, I had absolutely no clue what to do. I really had no clue what to do whatsoever. And I wanted to date. I wanted to meet. I was open to meet a new girl. I wanted to start a new relationship. So for the first time in my life, I entered the dating market, the infamous dating market. And I encountered all kinds of challenges that I had never encountered before because I had never really dated, because I never proactively tried to meet women. The girlfriend that I had and the girls before that, we met each other in our social circles. That's how we met people. That's how we met our relationships. The boyfriends, the girlfriends, they all came from our social circles back then. We met each other in real time, in real life. We actually met each other, before the internet. But now I had to go out there, and as a grown man with a big fucking ego, I had crippling approach anxiety. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. And I was the guy that came across as the standard nice guy. And when it finally happened that I finally secured a date, I remember the first time I got that message, an SMS message, that she didn't feel the click. And this struggle went on for some time, I can tell you. But you can understand that, motivated by a huge amount of frustration, I decided I was going to tackle this part of my life and overcome my dating challenges. And I wanted to learn about, not just about dating, but about relationships, because that's where my pain really, where I had my explosive pain. So what I did, I flew all over the world. My pain was so huge, and it was so painful that I was literally willing to fly all over the world to go to international trainings, to go to international seminars, to seek out all the love and relationship gurus and the dating experts. And yeah, I just wanted to learn from the absolute best in the world. And back then, it was the best decision that I could ever made, because those training sessions and the coaching and it helped me to skyrocket. Yeah, I grew really fast because I already had the experience. So the things that I learned, I could put it into place really quickly, really fast. And yeah, I learned a lot and I grew a lot. I also became a certified coach, certified therapist. And at some point, I started working with and training with the guys from the Venusian Arts. Started flying around the world to run boot camps, give trainings, and follow trainings with them, get mentored by them, and learning intimate social communication at the highest level. And I went from being a naive, nice guy to still being a nice guy or a kind guy. I think, there's a difference between a nice guy and a man who's kind. But I went from being a naive, nice guy to being a mentor for others. So you can say that I felt enormously liberated the moment that all of this stuff clicked, about how things really work between men and women. And today, what we are going to do in the next about, I think so, 15 minutes, we're going to dive into what romantic attraction really is, because I keep getting messages, whether it's underneath my TikTok videos or underneath the YouTube videos or through emails or whatever platform, from guys telling me that everything I say is wrong and is toxic, and that I give out toxic advice, and that I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, because love and attraction, or attraction is about love, and attraction is about connection, and it's about being in the moment and being vulnerable and blah 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 and all that, the entire romantic story. And yeah, I understand, man. I understand that people say that, because that's exactly what I have been led to believe. But after diving into attraction and learning about the evolutionary psychology, and learning about the mechanics that drive attraction, I now am a believer of something completely different. And I'm going to share that with you, not to try and break your soul, but still to help you, to put some things in place. Because what I notice is that, especially nowadays, in the fast growing manosphere, the red pill community, there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of people regurgitating the same red pill knowledge, but they don't have the experience, and they don't have, the insights of the underlying mechanics. So the information doesn't really hit the nail on the head. So what I'm going to try and do, the best that I can from now on, is to give some really in-depth trainings about romantic attraction and about communication, inner communication, outer communication, and how everything that we do leads to attraction, hopefully. And I'm going to give everything that I have learned in the past 15 plus years, nearly 20 years. I'm going to give it to you so that you can grab it, implement it, and make your lives better. So there you go. That's my goal with Mancademy. So yeah, man. Look, when I talk about romantic attraction, I talk about the scientific approach to attraction, which translates to survival and replication value. Yeah, add survival value and replication value together. That's where romantic attraction comes alive. And I won't go into a scientific or evolutionary or technical story about the origins of attraction. But to make a very long story short, we are all biological machines. And we are programmed by Mother Nature, by Yahweh, by God, whatever it is that you like to believe. But we are programmed to, one, to survive first and foremost, yeah, and to two, when we succeed in surviving, we need to reproduce so that we can pass on our genes to the next generation, which is the natural cycle of life. So we have survival and we have reproduction. So us men and women, we have all been installed with a certain programming into our brains, yeah, our firmware. And this sexual programming, our mating behavior, are programmed in our older or more primitive brain parts. And this programming drives us to, yeah, to direct ourselves and form relationships with people, form bonds with people who can help us to accomplish two things: survive, reproduce. So we all walk around on this planet living our lives completely unaware of the fact that all of our actions are driven by our natural urges. Our urges to find someone with whom we can form an intimate relationship, someone who possesses certain value for us. Yeah, survival value, reproduction value. And you can see it like this, that people with low survival and reproduction values, people who cannot assist us in achieving our natural goal, we experience those people as less attractive or unattractive. And people with higher survival and reproduction value, people who can assist us and can help us in achieving our natural goals, we experience them as more attractive or as attractive. And when you look at how men and women experience these values, yeah, and what we're looking for in each other, the balance between survival and reproduction value isn't quite 100% equal. Yeah, women, for an example, are more in search of survival value. Yeah, that's what we men are naturally able to offer to women. That's what we bring to the table. And we men are more in search of reproduction value. Yeah, the value that women can offer us. Yeah, so that's the value that they bring to the table. So romantic attraction, therefore, is an unconscious but very logical result of the fact that person A recognizes survival and replication or reproduction value in person B, and vice versa. Yeah, you can see a remarkable difference between men and women when it comes to qualifying behavior, to qualify each other on certain values. And by this, I mean the behavior that we display when we look at someone as a possible and potential partner. Yeah, women mainly qualify us men on various character traits that they naturally consider as being attractive. Men qualify women on physical beauty features that signal to us attractiveness. So we men, we look at women and we scan up and down, with our eyes, and we determine her attractiveness by spotting various sexual health indicators. And women, on the other hand, make a much larger parental investment when starting a sexual interaction with a man. And therefore, she qualifies us on certain character traits that tell her that's an attractive man. Yeah. And why is that? Well, a woman can become pregnant if she decides to start a sexual relationship with you. And pregnancy means a strain on her body and could possibly cost her her life. Yeah, because childbirth, I always tell this to guys that that I talk to about this. Childbirth doesn't always go as smoothly as you see on TV. Yeah, and I've experienced that with the birth of my daughter. It didn't go well at all, and her mother during childbirth lost. I think that they said over 2 liters of blood. Yeah, and that was not a pretty sight. It wasn't a romantic thing that happened. Yeah, it wasn't like in romantic movies. Push, push. Oh, here's the baby. Oh, we're so happy now. No, it didn't go like that at all. And throughout the history of humanity, many women and babies have died during childbirth. So women, therefore, have a huge interest in finding the right partner. And I mean a man with the right survival value. Yeah. So a woman doesn't just look at the outside, she mainly looks at the inside. Because she wants to know that besides the fact that you carry good physical genes, that you're also capable of being there for her and your potential child, or at least her potential child. Are you able to take care of her? And even more importantly, the child, should something happen to her. So women have been given a whole set of advanced emotional triggers by Mother Nature that they use to achieve this goal. Um, and anyways, to make a long story short, you could see it like this: we men, we have a nut sack full of seed that we can spread without too much difficulty. And sex doesn't require a big investment from us, but a woman carries an enormously valuable egg inside her, and if it's fertilized by you, she will walk around as a walking incubator with a growing fetus inside her body. Think about that. A fetus that uses her body as a cocoon and as an energy source to take energy from and grow, and which she will eventually give birth to as a baby, your baby, hopefully your baby. So you now understand that her investment in having sex is many times larger than your investment. And that's why women always make things so difficult. Yeah, that's what men complain about. Well, why are women so difficult? Well, that's why. Yeah. And that's why, according to women, we men, we act like dogs and chase our dicks. It's very simple. Men and women are triggered by completely different emotions because we are programmed differently. Yeah, we exist for two completely different reasons. And so we respond differently to the information that is communicated to us by the other sex. And that is why, yeah, keep this in mind. This is why men and women never seem to understand each other. It's because we filter information through completely different filters. Yeah. And that's why it's like you see these red pill videos and guys complaining about women and how women are useless, and and women are gold diggers, and women are this, women are that, and I can't understand women. Look, when you understand this, everything falls into place. Yeah. So understanding what romantic attraction really is and being able to accept it, that will give you a lot of peace in your mind. Yeah. It will give you a lot of peace of mind. So a good way to bridge to the next point that I really, that I really want to make is this question. And this is a question that a lot of men ask. Like, so what do women really want? I don't understand women. What is it that they want? And this is a question that a lot of men have asked themselves, throughout all of human history. Because what a woman wants can seem highly, excuse me, contradictory due to her natural drive and personal motivations. Yeah, that's why when you watch the podcasts, women seem to make absolutely no sense, because they say one thing in the beginning and then 5 minutes later they contradict themselves and they say something completely different. Yeah. And actually, it's quite logical, because she may say at one moment that she wants, for an example, a strong alpha man, but then end up in a relationship with a completely different type of guy. Yeah, or she might meet a man who's exactly her type, but then to try and change him into something that suits her better, which will happen to you if you operate from a weak frame. Yeah, and then on one hand, she may be happy with the feminine power that she has exerted. Like, look at me. I changed him into something that suits me better. But then on the other hand, she may be absolutely fucking disgusted with the weak thing that he has become, that you have become. And look, let's be honest. This happened to me. This 1,000% happened to me in my first relationships, because I operated from a weak frame. So this is one of the things that I always, man, I cannot share this enough, because we get so many guys in the last few years that we started. Man Academy started late 2020. And a lot of guys, they turn to us when they experience a very rough breakup. And they don't understand where that breakup came from, and how they got from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. Well, this might be the thing. Operating from a weak frame, and then having a girl pushing on you and poking you and emotionally trying to manipulate you, change you into something that suited her better. Only to be disgusted with you when you become that weak sack of shit laying in a dark corner crying like a loser. Yeah. So anyways, do women really know what they want? Well, yes and no. And for me personally, it doesn't even matter. I don't care if she knows or doesn't know what she really wants. It doesn't matter. Because what matters to me is that I understand that for her nature, there's only one thing that counts, and that is for her to become pregnant and leave a healthy child on earth, who then continues to play its own role in the game of nature, the circle of life. Circle of life. And then in turn to pass on their own genes as well. Yeah. Because that's how it's been for many generations. And that's how it will continue on for many, many generations. And yes, it can be extremely frustrating for a man to find out, or to try and find out, what a woman, his woman, your woman, actually wants or not. Yeah. But luckily, there have been many people before us who, through studying animal behavior, studying human behavior, and through much experimentation, have discovered what triggers women on an emotional level. And before I forget, if you want to learn more about this, yeah, write these names down. Follow the work, or search the work of Dr. David Buss, Godsad. Uh, just to start off with those two names, Godsad and Professor David Buss, yeah, evolutionary psychologists, and they dive deep into human behavior, and that's where I learned all of this stuff from. Yeah, and that's where I learned that there are certain character traits that an attractive man communicates. And with an attractive man, I mean a man who brings with him high survival and reproduction value. So, what are some of the character traits that indicate that certain men have high survival and replication or reproduction value? Well, one of the things is appearance and height. It is what it is. Yeah, women are generally more attracted to a man with a handsome appearance and a certain height. But, yeah, before someone starts crying here, if you are short and ugly, that doesn't mean that you cannot attract women. Yeah, it's just that you have to understand it. Statistically, overall, women feel more attracted to a man with certain facial features and a certain height in the first instance. But there are more than enough examples of men who are successful with women without being tall and handsome. Yeah. So appearance and height, they play a big factor. What's another point? Um, Being healthy, being fit. Even though it's possible to eat shit and be fat and lazy and still, snatch or hook a woman, statistically speaking, women are initially more attracted to men who are fit and who are healthy. Yeah, because men who are fit and healthy just have a more attractive aura around them. Hygiene and personal care is also a big thing. Yeah, a sense of fashion is a point that is often overlooked. I'm not going to go into it, this any deeper. Just gonna drop some points here. Um, Coming across as comfortable is very important. It's often said that, and this is what I really believe, is that a man should come across as comfortable opposed to as confident. Yeah. Make sure that you have a relaxed body language. Show that you are comfortable in your own skin. A man who is comfortable has his affairs in order, has his shit in order, which feels comfortable for her, and therefore more interesting or more attractive. Yeah. Laughing, smiling, having a good sense of humor, very important. Yeah, these are also demonstrations of higher value. Another point is not appearing needy. It's a very important point. This is where a lot of guys, especially nice guys, go wrong because they operate from a weak, needy frame. But a man with higher survival and reproduction value most likely has his life in order and therefore isn't needy. And we're talking about, his finances. He's probably fit. He's probably emotionally stable. He has sexual access to women. So for these reasons, he's not needy and doesn't appear needy to others. So he doesn't need anything from others because he has it himself. He has abundance in his life, and that's what he communicates. Yeah, and women pick this energy, pick up this energy like easily. And they do that through your body language. And they will experience you, they will see you as a man with low value when you appear needy. So then, and this is, I really want to go deeper into this because there's a lot of needy men out there that should learn about this. What is needy behavior? What is needy? Well, asking or seeking attention, asking for attention, seeking attention, attention seeking behavior, complaining behavior, complaining to try and get attention, um, apologizing for the space that you occupy, needing feedback from others to do something. Yeah, these are things that needy men communicate. But understand, women are not programmed to have sex with a needy man or with a man with low value. So don't be reactive. A reactive man is a needy man. The person who reacts to everything is more needy than the person who is unfazed. And so don't try to make an impression on others. And the person who tries to make an impression, that tries to make an impression on others to get validated, is perceived as the person with lower status. Yeah, so don't make excuses for who you are. Don't seek reactions from other people. Don't seek attention. Don't seek validation. Don't seek understanding. And one thing that a lot of, man, sometimes I really want to slap the shit out of certain guys. They believe that women should find them or love them, find them attractive for who they are. And then when I ask them questions about their life, they have no life. And having an attractive or interesting life is, by definition, emotionally stimulating to women, and it's very important to have. Not even for women, but also for you as a man. Yeah, so this is also a very important point. Create a life. Have a life. Have things going on. Be an ambitious person. Don't try to fake it, be it. Make sure that you are fit. Go to the gym. Don't act like you go to the gym. Be the guy that goes to the gym. You want to be. You don't want to try. You don't want to act as if. Have lively social interactions. Create a strong identity by being all these things, by doing. Yeah? By doing and being, you communicate in various ways that you are an interesting man with shit going on. Yeah, you signal that through your communication. Yeah, through body language, or directly speak and talk about your life's the things that you've got going on. I hope that you understand this. Yeah, it's a lot of, man, I get so many questions of guys that they desire a girlfriend, but they have no life going on. Why would a woman choose to be with you? Why would she do that? And no, you can't answer this question with, yeah, because I can love her like no other guy can love her. I can be there for her like no other guy can be there for her. Dude, there's a whole busload of guys that want to be there for her. Why should she choose you? What makes you stand out of the crowd? Yeah, think about that. One thing that you have to understand, and I mean, we're talking about becoming more attractive for women, but whether or not you get the girl, you get the life. Yeah, you building a life that you can be proud of. That's the most important thing here. Yeah. So build an identity, build your image, build your social status. That all ties into building a life. Social status, by the way, is incredibly important to women. It's not that they consciously, or at least not all, it's not like all women are looking for a man like who has the highest status here, you know. But subconsciously, men with a higher social status are more attractive to women than men with a lower social status. How crazy is that, huh? Actually, it's quite logical. It just doesn't sound romantic, does it? And why is that? Well, it's because a man with higher social status most likely has access to more resources. And identity and image greatly contribute to this social status. So, one thing that you really want to ask yourself is, who am I? Who am I? Most guys don't even know who they are, which is sad. And why don't they know who they are? It's because they don't do shit. They live their lives, or they don't live their lives. They pass their time inside their very small comfort bubble. And that's no life. You know, life is exists outside of your comfort zone. So go crush that. Because that's where you learn who you really are. Yeah? Who you are is greatly influenced by what exactly it is that you do every single day of your life. And do you really do what you want to do in your daily life? Do you do what you do in your daily life with a certain amount of passion? Do you follow your dreams, or do you follow someone else's dreams that don't really excite you? You know, women are women are more motivated, or are more attracted to men who have a burning passion, who are ambitious and goal oriented. I've seen poor guys have more success due to their burning passion, due to their ambitions, than the wealthier guys with no passion and no ambitions. Because you can have money, man, but if you have no passion or no ambitions, you're still boring. And you can do a lot with women, but you can never bore them. Which, in my personal theory, is the reason why so many women today are on OnlyFans, or are being 304s, because they're bored and they're seeking desperately for something that emotionally excites them, because that's what women are programmed to seek out: emotional stimulation. Yeah, so when you are emotionally stimulating, just that, you don't have to have a big house, you don't have to have an amazing car, but if you are emotionally stimulating, you are miles ahead of the rest. Yeah, especially today, in this day and age, it's so easy to be a more interesting guy, to be an attractive guy, because the competition sucks. The competition sucks. And this is what I also say to the guys that are in our mentorship program. It usually doesn't matter what it is that you are passionate about, as long as you are passionate about something, as opposed to being a cold person, with a yeah, whatever attitude. Oh, yeah, man. Trying to be too cool for school. So what is your identity? Who are you, and what path are you walking in this life? And when you are talking to a woman or anyone about that path, are they touched by the passion with which you communicate your story? And is she so touched by what it is that you're saying that she wants to walk that path together with you? Yeah, so one of the main demonstrations of high value is having resources. Yeah, a man with resources is a more interesting man than a man without resource. But there's one thing that hits harder. If you, with passion in your heart, work towards those resources, it stimulates more and it turns them on more. Yeah. And women who are turned on want to walk your life path with you. So be stimulating, speak with passion about your life story. And if you can't speak with passion about your life story, well, then you have work to do, man. And I get these questions. I wanted to say something different. I was looking for a different word. Yeah, but I get these questions like, yeah, but what if I don't have if I can't demonstrate higher value, but I still have so much love to give? Dude, shut the fuck up. Get your ass off of the couch. Go outside and start living your life. No cute, like not even an average woman these days will choose a guy who lives an average life. You have to do more. You have to get out there, start living life. Yeah. You have to be able to stimulate her emotions. And a lot of guys are super unstimulating. They're boring. A lot of you are boring. And don't hate me for saying it, man. You know who you are. One of the things that you'll hear me say a lot is change her mood, not her mind. And that's a phrase that you'll hear me say often when you work with me. Change her mood, not her mind. You want to influence her on an emotional level, not on a logical level. Yeah, so you don't want to convince her with logic that you are a guy that she should open her heart and her legs for. You want to communicate signals that reach inside her, tickle her on an emotional level. That's how she gets turned on, by getting her emotions stimulated. Yeah, because there's a big difference in how men and women communicate, and a lot of men look at communication from a male logical perspective. Why? Because, well, when we men communicate, we use logic as a foundation for certain points that we want to make, while women use their emotion as the foundation for this. Yeah. I mean, of course, we are both motivated by emotions first. yeah, to take certain actions and later to rationalize to ourselves, yeah, so to come up with logical reasons why we took certain steps. Emotion always comes first, rationalization comes second. But through our evolved nature, women experience emotions much more and much better than we men do. Yeah, we're just wired differently, we're programmed differently, and that results in different reactions from the both of us. In our eyes, women can, for an example, be very overreactive. Yeah, we say, well, she's like overly dramatic, while we seem cold and emotionless in their eyes. For women, emotions are more than enough reason to do something or to not do them. Yeah, while we men need a certain logic to understand, to understand why we are doing something. So it makes no sense to try and convince her that you are a man that is more capable than other guys to love her. Don't have that discussion with her on a logical level. Logic should never be used in relationships. Well, not to try and influence her. Yeah, I have to say, I have to correct myself, because what you have to understand is that what a woman says and what she says she wants, or what she thinks she wants, can completely differ from what stimulates her and gets her moving. So from now on, when interacting with women, you will want to use emotional stimulation instead of rational reasoning. Because if it feels good for her, she will come up with her own reasons why something intimate is happening between the two of you. Yeah, so if you can make her feel good, if you can stimulate her properly, her rationalization process will work in your favor. So that's what you want to communicate, or how you want to communicate. You want to communicate things that tickle her emotions. Also understand, to, to go a little bit deeper about into women's emotions, understand that a woman also knows that she becomes vulnerable when she is in an elevated emotional state. If she gets the idea that she may become emotionally trapped in an interaction with a man who doesn't possess high enough value for her, she it could be very well be that she'll react cold or distant to you, like she may ghost you even after being intimate with you. And this is because she tries to keep her emotions in check. Yeah, so understand very well that it's a game of stimulating emotions. Yeah, the game between men and women is about stimulating emotions instead of having rational conversations. And when you understand why, why I just explained all of this, you don't have to have a conversation with her about why you think you are the best option for her. Like after she dumped you for Tyrone Thundercock, or for Kevin from from sales. But when you understand emotions, you'll know that your logic will not persuade her to come back to you. to see you as the better option. You will not be able to convince her on a logical level. And if you can, it's only for a short while. It's emotions that make women go either left or right. Yeah. So, just to do a quick recap, romantic attraction is not about love or about connection. Yeah, because if you start seeing it from that, if you see it from that perspective, man, you're gonna do the wrong things. You're gonna do all the wrong things. I've done all the wrong things. Yeah, but see it for what it really is. It's romantic attraction is about survival and replication value. And if you want to learn more about that, don't just take it from me. Yeah, go dive into the sources and read, for an example, The Evolution of Desire from Professor David Buss, The Evolution of Desire. Read Evolutionary Psychology by Professor David Buss. Read Sperm Wars. Who's the Sperm Wars? Let me see. Dr. What's his name? Robin Baker, Sperm Wars. Yeah, it's Robin Baker. Read that book. It's a fun book to read, and you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot about women, and you'll learn a lot about yourself. And learning a lot about these things will bring you a lot of peace. Some highly needed peace. A lot of guys desire peace. Well, if you want to experience more peace and quiet, and you have to understand what the fuck's going on. A few tips and tricks will not help you understand this game between men and women better. If you want to learn about this, you have to go to the source. You have to go to the bottom and go work yourself all the way up. I always like I'm a kickboxer, and I always compare it to fighting. There's so many guys, they knock on my door and then they ask, look, I want to enter the ring and I want to win the match. I want to win the fight. Can you give me a few tips and tricks on how to knock out my opponent? Well, do you know, have you ever heard of footwork? No? Do you know what it means if I say put your guard up? No. Do you know how to roll with the punches? Do you know what a low kick is? Do you know what clinching is? So you basically don't know shit, and you want me to give you a few tips and tricks to win the fight, to knock your opponent out. It's ridiculous. It will not work. I can give you the best tips and tricks, but if the basis isn't there to be a proper fighter, if you don't have the footwork in your system, if you don't know how to keep your guard up, if you don't know how to roll with the punches, if you don't know how to clinch and or escape from a clinch, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out, or at least you're gonna get kicked around. You're gonna get kicked around the ring for a long time, and you're gonna walk out crying. Yeah, that's what I see happening with a lot of guys. They don't understand what they're doing, and they're looking for a few tips and tricks. Dude, if you're looking for a few tips and tricks, and you find a few tips and tricks, see it like this. You're still a loser, but now you're a loser equipped with a few tips and tricks. That's what it is, essentially. Yeah, so if you're the guy looking for a few tips and tricks, stop looking for a few tips and tricks. The best tip and trick that you can give yourself is to learn this shit. Read those books: Evolution of Desire, Sperm Wars, Evolutionary Psychology. Learn about you and about your needs, wants, desires. Learn about her needs, wants, and desires. Once you know that, you'll feel so at ease. Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's attraction for you. That is what romantic attraction is. It's S and R value. That's what the word that I was looking for. Yeah. Survival and replication value. There you go. That's what makes this world go around. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it at this, because I mean, I can talk for hours and hours and hours, but I don't want to take up all your time. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted here. StreamYard is showing me a lot of stuff. I'm still not no StreamYard expert, but I'm going to be, because I'm going to do this more often. I'm going to dive deeper into this stuff, and I'm going to share everything that I've learned. I'm going to share everything with you. I'm going to cite the sources as well, yeah, so that you can go directly to the source. Don't just take things from me, because I'm going to tell you my version, yeah. I'm going to explain things through my filters, and I want you to really understand the deeper specifics of everything that I'm sharing. So go to the source. Guys, I'm going to end the broadcast here. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place. What kind of a training I'm going to do, I'm not sure yet, but it's going to be a nice surprise. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you next week. Hey, take care. Bye-bye. Zwei. Much love.